We already
Every
opened.
time.
We already opened, yeah, we had.
Oh, good.
We started
You
at
pledged
5.
allegiance already?
Yeah.
Perfect, okay,
We had
thank
we had a meeting before.
you. Meeting at 5?
Yeah.
Good lord.
Oh, so much for me getting out here early tonight, I guess.
Well, no, trust me, we're getting out of here. Don't. I guess
We got done a little early.
We're getting the hell out of here.
We don't have a lot left, so we're gonna get out of here.
All right,
Begrudging with my comments.
new stuff.
Begrudging with my comments. Let's see if I could do that now.
Administration, code enforcement, you wanna go over first, Betty? You wanna hit A? Administration, code enforcement,
Absolutely.
then we'll get through those things, then we'll cycle back to any questions or comments we have regarding whatever we saw earlier and whatever more information Betty may have. Go ahead, Betty, thank you.
So just quickly through the administration budget, there wasn't a whole lot of changes. The website I did decrease just because we do a 3-year contract. It doesn't renew again until 2028. Technologies did do an increase. Last year, we actually started to sign a 1-year contract for services. Last year, we actually used ARPA funds for that, and then this year, we've used a combination of the technology line and unanticipated. And so I've added that in. As you can see, over the past few years, we have gone over budget on that. If we do a 1-year contract, they give us a discount on a hourly rate. And then I added the chat GBT. And then Community Access TV did do an increase from Lake Region TV for our recording of meetings and archiving. So they gave us a bill for like $3,000 and something. I divided that up between planning board, admin. And then electricity, as I've already said, is an increase. Insurance increased. I did do a 12% estimated increase for liability auto. And then cybersecurity this year was actually a separate entity. They no longer included it under our liability. So that was $4,000 a year for cybersecurity. And then cleaning services, there is a slight increase. We are now having an in-house employee do that. Our cleaning service gave notice and stopped cleaning. We put it out there. We got prices anywhere from $175 to $250. The planning board secretary is doing it for $100 a week. So I actually have that under employee pay, which is still a savings. If we were to hire that out, it would have been a $4,200 increase if we hired a service company to do that. So overall, the admin budget is a 5% increase. Most of that is the pay increases that I had calculated in there, and like employee benefits, like the health insurance going up, and then just, the increase in Social Security because of pay increases. So any question on admin?
Yep, go ahead.
go for it.
Just, if we're, and I don't know the answer to this, that's why I'm asking, if we are paying for the commercial town thing for Google, has anybody messed around with Google Gemini instead of that would probably come with that? That's their AI tool rather than chat.
Oh, no.
GPT,
Oh,
I know.
yeah, because on Google you can use the AI.
Yeah,
I see what
it's
you mean.
Gemini.
Yeah.
I would assume it can. Now, if it's not as good, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
know that we end up. I don't use it, but a lot of people at school use it because it comes with the district's package when they purchase the Google piece. But so again, I don't use it.
I
but-
haven't used it. I really. I
So that's something if it's interested to
Yeah,
take some
that
time to
makes
mess
No,
around
I'll look
with
into it. I'll look.
You might, maybe it's not worth it.
It's probably all the same, to be honest with you. A lot
I
of it's
don't
probably
know.
pretty similar at this point.
Right.
Zero.
I sat through a bunch of presentations on it, but that's a big extent.
Zero idea.
I mean, I guess early. Do you think it's how much? I don't know. Quantify it, but like, does it save you time?
The chat?
Yeah.
It does. So it saves, for me, it saves me time for like drafts of policies. It will give me the draft, and then I can take it from there and then just start marking it up, you know, making it more personal for what we need it to be. The RFP, I was actually just talking about, I had started an RFP for the salt shed. You know, so it does that. It will pull from like other RFPs that it finds, or other policies, or sometimes I just put in, this is all that I want, and it will again produce me a draft as I'm doing something else.
Right.
I don't need to sit there and watch it and.
Is the final product of whatever you're submitting or more human, I guess, for lack of a better word? I don't like using that word.
Yeah, I never
Do you know what I
take.
mean? Like, just
yeah.
from legal over just editing, you know,
Yeah,
just
I never take what they give me as a
proofreading, I
final.
guess. Yeah.
I always take it and then start marking it up myself, so it gives me like the base, especially with like the ordinance review that we're doing now. So
I know the nice thing, at least from the tool, and like at least with Gemini, you can close source it. You can say pick from these 5 or 7, and it doesn't do the whole. So sometimes
Correct.
you don't get a lot of the stuff that you're not looking for. I knew that's
Yes.
one of the advantages of
yeah,
that piece, but
like I can upload, like if we already have a policy, and I want to update that policy or refine it more, I can upload that policy and say, you know, look at section whatever, and it will just look at that. It does that with the personnel policy. So,
Okay. Yeah.
I have a question about your software that you use in the office and I think you purchased, I guess it's cloud-based now?
yes.
And does the CEO use it too? And I guess my feeling is, how do you like it and the costs and all of that? And I guess that's under admin, isn't it? Or am I?
Yep, so the cost is about the same. There was a transitional cost that we had to do for an upgrade, but that was a couple years ago, and we used ARPA funds for that. And I mean, I don't use it day in and day out. The clerks obviously do. I did not buy the CEO module for it. There is a CEO module where you can, you know, record all of your permits and such. But I didn't see the need to buy that. I find that I like it. We can open up several windows at a time. You don't have to like close out one window to pull up another report. And I don't know, like there was some glitches for. Yeah. You know, we've had some glitches, like if Windows updates, then it might, you know, set that into a spiral. And then for the most part with me, like the customer service has been like I email or put in a ticket and they seem to get back to me quickly. I don't think that's been the case with some in the office, but for the most part, if it's something that we say needs attention like right away, like the printers aren't working because of the Windows update or something, they seem to get back to us quickly.
And is your computers and all that, is that keeping up with it? Because I know there's a lot of change.
So we're
in the
having
world.
them host it, which actually let us reduce our server. So when we replace the server again with ARPA funds, we were able to go with a smaller server here. And so that was the recommendation, was to make sure that they hosted it, especially from our IT guys. They said, you know, just make sure we have them host it, just because then there is no loss of data. There is, you know, they're responsible for backing all of that.
I know when that software first came, like way back 30 years ago, whatever, they thought they were backing it up, and then there was a crash, and they had to go in. Luckily, they were still doing things the old-fashioned way, and they had to go in on their free time. You remember this, don't you?
Yeah.
And they had to go in and add
She's
everything
doing a
again.
spreadsheet next to the new program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're overall happy with it, the quality and everything?
Yeah,
Because I know
am
that in the
anyways.
transition beforehand, it was not an easy transition for the staff to use and so forth.
I think us waiting was smart. You know, they were really trying to push it when it first come out, and we waited, I think, for as long as we could, I think, actually, and listened to some other towns, and that headache of that first transition. So I think they got most of it worked out before we decided to transition.
Are you going to need any new computers or anything? I know you've purchased some a couple years ago. Are you going to need anything new, and is that part of the budget?
Excuse me, we might need a new computer for the assessor because he's still working on one of the little knowledge things. I don't know what they're called. There's one sitting over there on that desk. But that, when we put in for technology line, we kind of figure in there if we have to replace one, you know, desktop or laptop or something. So I don't really see anything major coming up. We did all of the ones in the office just last year. Yeah,
Only 2 years ago, yeah.
so.
Assume your printer got straightened out?
My printer?
Well, the printer that was.
The copier.
Oh, the copier. Yeah, yeah, that is a lease, so they
Fixed it.
come and, they come and repair as we call, so.
Two items.
Yep.
Just a question. Ballot scanner, is that gonna be used? The last, 25 it wasn't used, are we gonna end up using it this current fiscal year? I mean,
Depends if we have people take out papers, so there's things to put on ballots.
Well, we-
but we didn't use it.
We
in
will
25.
because,
Are we gonna use it before this year's out?
so with the ballot scanner, we definitely use it for any state or federal elections, and so we do have
So that was in 24.
those coming up. And then for local, it really depends on, like last year, we didn't use it because we had so many open write-in candidate positions, and if it's a write-in, then it doesn't really,
it doesn't- yeah,
it
you
doesn't
can't
really
do it.
count it. You have to hand count anyways.
So this is for accumulating or figuring out who won?
Yes. So it's when you come in and vote.
I mean, we end up
With
with
the
like
name.
80 people voting. We scan that to get the correct numbers.
So the state requires it. Am
They
I?
require scanning. I guess what I'm saying is, it doesn't seem to use that often, and if we get we're lucky to get, not all the time, we get a big federal election, obviously we got a lot more votes than that, but a lot of these off elections, we're lucky if we get 80 votes, 100 votes. I mean, is it,
You still have the machine, but we have to pay if it's a local or if it's a municipal election, and we have to pay to have the ballots printed when we.
so is this for printing ballots also?
Right.
Because it just says scanner, so I'm misreading it, because scanner
Well-
sounds to me you're renting a piece of equipment.
It's
to
not
do it.
just for that though. Like if they do an update,
We don't pay for the state, we don't pay for the ballots when they come from the state, but we're still using the same machine. But when we have to go through ES&S to have the ballots printed, then we have to send them the information to print, and then they send the thumb drives, which.
I just haven't seen since 23 going anywhere, close to 1,000. We keep put 1,500 in. I don't know.
On page one.
I think the last two
page
meetings.
1, 370 is 1,500.
503-70.
I mean, it's gonna be a tough year. I mean, every 1,000 here and there, to me, is, I think it's critical that
I mean,
we don't show a lot
But
of
even,
increases in
I
things.
mean, do we have any charge if we use it for the state or the federal?
No.
No charge at all?
I think it was, isn't it like, it used to be like $700 fee for the municipal elections. We have to pay, I don't know, like you said, it's been a couple of years. since we-
I'm just looking at the numbers. If you-
Yeah.
really need it number in there, so be it.
I'll take a
You know,
look and
that's
see
all.
what
I'm just looking at
those-
what's along those lines, it just seems odd. The other thing, the only other one would be office supplies. It's going up 1,000, and when you look back, it's never gone over the 8 that was in the budget this year, so I'm just wondering, can you knock off 1,000 there? Again, I'm just looking at, it's gonna be a difficult year with all those couple big ticket item type things, and I think anywhere we can show that we're holding the line on these kind of things, I think it just helps, so that, I know it's, it's not to say that in the future some of these things can't go up when you really need it, but I think we should really just try to, personally, some of these things
Yeah, we
that,
can put the office back down to 8. I think I bumped it because we had talked about potentially needing, right now we all have Dymo printers for like labels, and some of the ones in the clerk's office, they had asked about getting dual ones. So when they're printing out so many labels, you get an actual label and then you get a smaller label also. So that was, and that's not a need.
yeah, I mean, if it's a nicety, maybe next year or something, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
It's not to say it's not needed, you know what I mean, but we might need to, some of the nice things, we might need to hold off a little bit, at least,
And
yeah.
I'll take a look and see what the breakdown of that 923 and the 585 is for the ballot.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to leave money in there because you think you're going to need some, that's fine. Yeah. It's just, I just looked at numbers and it just seemed odd.
I can listen.
Yeah, that's fine.
And is under office supplies, is that, like, say for planning board and board of appeals, is that for their expenses too, for copying, or do they have their own?
They have their own,
Their own.
yeah.
Well, you still, looks like you have significant amount of money still in that office, did I read the right one? Office
Yeah.
budget supply, you could get those things under the current budget.
Well, and I usually try to, like, once I get to like a month out,
Right.
I take a look and,
Then you'll really show a decrease.
And then the annual, I just got to ask a question about the annual audit too, because that was, you'd budgeted 15 and 26, but it cost 18 and 25. So I'm just curious if that audit was particularly expensive for a reason. 503.63. It was 10 grand, then it was 9 grand, then it was 18.
Oh, yeah.
We budgeted 15.
so I think you're gonna find that 18 was a partial year also, like we might have either prepaid
Okay.
or it might have been, we didn't get an invoice in for the prior audit until that fiscal year.
Okay.
Usually that gets adjusted by the auditor, but sometimes if it's, and I shouldn't say significant, but then we don't adjust it.
Okay. So then is the 8 or the 9 more reasonable, or have they told you it's going to be?
They've told
More
us
like
it's going to be more of
or-
a 12 to 15.
Good by me, then. That's all what I had.
Now, this is a year ago, but why did we jump from, on ballot clerks and meals? How did it jump from 3,000 to 6,000 in the year, from 2025 to 2026? And they were doing it again this year, 6,000 again for clerks and
Yeah,
meals.
it seems a little high.
Do we just have a lot more people counting, or?
We'll have a federal election this
So,
cycle,
and that's,
congressional election.
yeah, so we try to work in there how many state and federal elections are like within the, and,
Okay.
But it's never going up.
But it's not-
2020, yeah.
Yeah, can it go to 4 instead
2024
of,
was a federal
Yeah.
election as well.
it
yeah,
can probably go to 4.
can it go to 4 instead of 6?
But-
You can minus,
Well, that's from 2024.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but even from 2025.
No,
she's
I got
saying
it, I got it.
federal.
I
Yeah, I
think we
understand
also
it now.
started paying ballot clerks.
Okay.
Don't you pay them a salary now?
Well, we started paying minimum wage before we were paying like 8
Stipend or
something.
something, yeah.
Yeah, stipend, so
so maybe
now we're
like,
paying them by the hour.
can we go to 4? Is that more reasonable, or you think, I mean, 6 seems, 4 or 5. I mean, 6 seems a little on the high side. That's
About 4,500, we'll split the difference.
I like it.
All about compromise here.
That's right. That's right. We're all about it. Nobody's thumping their fist on the desk. Yeah, some other towns.
All right, anything else under there?
Anything else for admin? Okay. Code enforcement.
So code enforcement,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Like buildings and repairs, was that in there? I'm looking at the next page.
okay, we can go page by page.
I was just, again, building, no, just right before code enforcement. I mean, we're adding $1,500. I know obviously building and repairs probably can use a lot
One less
more.
building to repair.
But we just talked, can that stay at 15 again, just kind of freezing it, considering what we're gonna, I mean, we just agreed previously to spend some money from the other budget to replace some doors at the, which you guys weren't here necessarily, but some of you were here, but is it possible to freeze that at 15, at least for this year, to, again?
I probably, but let me take a
Yeah,
look, because
just
we have 20 fire extinguishers we need to replace this year. We've been
Now
told.
that they're all expired? Who told us we had to replace them?
The guy who comes and inspects them every year.
Yeah,
Everything fire, it just is like,
it's all at once.
Almost like you want it for
My
Reddit.
fire extinguisher in the garage hasn't been checked for 10 years. My grandson used it a little while ago, so still works.
no, but we had a fire department and a chief we were paying for years to make sure, you know, you would think that they'd be following these things. Then all of a sudden, one year, we had no knowledge of it, is I guess my point. If you kind of know a year or two they're coming up, you can kind of plan for things. It seems like we get hit with everything, expires all at once, and, oh, we need this.
And
It's
then
like,
we're always putting out a fire.
yeah, literally. No, and we have to do it if they're expired. That's not the point.
Expired.
Anyway. I guess before that also, for the government tax assessment, we had tax maps.
Yeah, we had to update.
I thought there was money for ARPA for this past year to complete that, or tax maps. Is that something every year we're spending $5,000 to
No,
update?
that was a
looking?
one-time.
He's on
General
just above
government
the code
taxes.
enforcement.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm on page 3.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Right where
Again,
your pen is, I think.
I mean, we put 5,400 in.
yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna end up spending that this year. We're only at 1,650, but then we have another
Can you read
5,500.
the number on it, the
Right
code
here,
number?
right here.
50328.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm just questioning, are we spending 5,500 a year for tax maps?
Yeah,
Yes, so that is a annual contract, if you want to say, so that we pay quarterly, and then we pay, so each year when the tax maps get updated, the paper maps, we are charged.
So that's,
As you
Paper
can
maps
see, it
being
goes,
used?
it's around 5,000 to,
yeah.
Are the paper
Do we
maps
need to
being
update
used?
them
Is there-
every year?
Where
Yes.
everything's digital?
we're required to update them.
Well, there's
That's
one
by
thing
law?
in keeping them
Yeah.
digital, but do you need to have a print one every year?
They do, yes, we do, actually. By law, we're supposed
Okay.
to keep every printed. I should be able to go back down. to
Someone
the
should be
vault,
able to come in and look
1800
at,
Yeah,
look at a
Yeah,
map
and
without
that
going on a
doesn't-
computer.
Yeah.
I
In
know
other words,
there's one
that's the state
missing,
law.
at least one missing one.
You think there's one
Okay.
missing?
Well, I do know that, because I've helped search for it.
Well, we should probably bump that number up then.
That's right. Well, we're spending 49, so they got extra $600 to buy an extra map. It'll be all right.
Would the is that the booklet, or is that like the big one that you used to hang and it's filed over here? If they kind of get by, because I know 2 years ago, the planning board asked for a tax map for $5,000, and I think that's what this fee is.
Oh, that was the ordinance map.
That was you.
Ordinance
That was
map.
the
Okay.
zoning map.
Yeah,
And that's being
That's
handled by ARPA, I think, right?
Yes.
We put
Yeah.
ARPA funds for
Yeah.
that. That should be
Right.
completed hopefully this year through the ARPA funds.
Yeah.
that's what I was asking about.
Okay.
Sorry.
CEO?
Okay, so CEO, there is an increase in training And part of that is just keeping up on the educational credits that we need for certifications. And then, so in order to do that, CEO training is a little, I'm going to say quirky, just because they'll do like, they don't do like specific trainings. It's more that you have to attend a couple of different times a year, like conferences. And within that conference, you know, you might get 5 categories of, you know, educational credits. So it seems as though that we're having to attend a little more training events to get those educational credits covered.
Is there a state certificate? Is that the issue?
Yes, so
That it lasts-
every 6 years, and within that 6 years, we need so many credits in
Only
each.
training credits.
Category.
Most certifications.
So your certificate is
require
6
that.
years certification.
Yeah.
Does mileage have to go up when
I was
mileage
just looking
seems
at
to
that
be?
too, yeah.
You know, I
Can it go
had-
to 1,000 instead of 1,250? I mean,
I had bumped that thinking that at the time I started this, like, the mileage seemed to be creeping up.
yeah.
But I was looking, today, and I think that I can put that back down to like the 1,250. You'll see like mileage in 24 and 25 were low. Part of that was because Lindsay was on duty, and I honestly didn't put in my mileage whenever I went out.
So I got
You're the backup CEO?
I am the backup CEO.
So with the CEO salaries, it shows from 2023 to the 2027 request a 30% increase. And that was largely for, some of that you said, or a good portion of that is for training, but there's a training line down near the bottom for a $1,500 request.
Well, no, I said the training is, I said
That's
the
separate.
training line was increased. The salary,
The budget request is similar, but the budget request for 20, yeah, I mean, are we going to expend that 54,000 in 26?
in 26,
Yeah, I mean, you budgeted 54,000,
Yeah.
you expended 30, just because the previous 3 years were, 40, 34, 35.
yeah. So again, those were the transition years.
Right.
So we were either without a CEO and not paying a CEO.
Right. Okay.
I was doing it.
I like that.
Plus also
And also-
her hours went up.
When,
Didn't her hours go up like 2 hours or 3
Last
hours
year.
a week last year? So
Last
that's why,
year. We
that's
went
why
from-
26 budget went a little higher.
yeah, we went from
She
34
was at a
to,
lower, she started with lower hours, and then it was increased 3 hours.
And isn't she going to planning board meetings and Board of Appeal meetings where that really wasn't happening in past year?
Well, it should have been happening last year. She was in
No,
the
I
job.
meant
She
that
said
she's-
past years.
Oh,
You're,
yeah, I'm not sure about prior to her,
Right.
But the other thing too is, I mean, besides her long deployment, every year she goes away, 2 weeks, 4 weeks? So,
reservist.
I mean, she's getting,
She's
we're not
reservist.
paying her then because she's getting paid more,
No, I
right? Even for, so really a month a year, if she continues with her reserve duty, we're putting in to pay for a month, but we're gonna always be saving a month because the government's picking up the tab. They're paying her more than we pay her for that month. So she gets paid by the government.
Understood with all of that, but
Yeah.
regardless of who was doing the work, it seems to me, and again, maybe I'm mistaken, that the work was being done even in those transition years, and no matter how we slice it, it's still from going to 2023 to 2027. That's a 30% increase in that
So-
budget. That's significant.
If it's,
I'm going to say that when she was, in 25, when she was on tour for 8 months, 6 months, 8 months, I did all of that work with no pay under my
Let's do that again.
manager. Okay, I shouldn't
You
say
can do
no
that,
pay.
yeah.
I
We
did
don't mind that.
receive a few hours a week pay. So that's one of the reasons you see that.
Betty,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
You also have, the other thing too that kind of skews everybody's salary line is that when you add up a couple of those COLAs,
No,
in the
I'll
meantime,
Right.
8.7,
No, absolutely.
3.5, whatever, I mean, you were looking, literally, I think in 3 years, it was like a 15% increase with everybody's salary, just because that's what COLA was. So when you look at a $40,000 salary and you add 15%,
Yep.
you know, so again, I feel like, you know, that's just something to just remember that, you know, that in those couple of years, all wages have gone up just in that, just because of the COLA.
Yep.
Let alone hours and everything else.
Well, you've brought it up about the COLA. This is like the first year, your letter to us doesn't start off the first paragraph with the COLA,
It's there.
It was in one of the
It's in there.
Right, but what I'm saying is, it doesn't seem as much of a big deal as it has been in other
Well,
years.
it's 2.8 was the
Well-
COLA for this past year.
Right, and that's much lower than other years.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Inflation is lower.
I mean,
That's just like
Betty
that.
has in here 3.5.
3.5 based on what we did last year.
Yeah, so that's a discussion point, you know, just, it's
Correct.
higher than COLA, you know.
Well, it's the first time we've been able to do anything higher than COLA because of,
Well, COLA's been high.
Right.
You know, it was tough to go
Oh, I don't
higher
know.
than
We went twice as much.
8.7% in some of those numbers.
that was 3 years ago,
Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Comparable wage, right? Yeah, that was like 15 or something like that, wasn't it?
So was there any more specific?
The code enforcement? Nope.
Yeah, so the overall increase was 4.3, and again, that includes the pay increase. In calendar year 2025, 102 building permits were issued, $22,540 was brought in for those. 45 plumbing permits were issued for $5,875. And then there's been we've been issuing more notices of violations and dealing with those. We have 2 court cases open right now. One's a notice of violation and one's a dangerous building.
Lovely. Lovely. Okay, any more questions on code enforcement? No. Okay, other? Were you able to look at any of the other capital, the public works numbers,
Yep.
Betty?
On the
Yeah, she's
sheet
got a page
that I gave you tonight, there's an updated. It's not numbered, it's,
Sorry. Is it the same basic
Yeah.
style? It's the same-
Three-year
Yeah, okay, that's the same letter one.
yeah, there's just no writing on the back.
No, it's good. All right. Where do we get to the?
So are we looking at the
Same thing?
chart,
No, this,
the second next page?
yeah, what it would
The
like if it was contracted out for the winter maintenance.
Oh,
Is it the same? Is this the same? 21.
I think you were thinking
take the figures.
about maintenance on
Question me is-
vehicles and things like that.
Well, that's- yeah, well,
I just saw it
That's
before I
what
came up.
Luke and I
Yeah.
sent an email.
Right.
with that.
No,
So
no,
that's
no,
here.
not with this.
Where is that
Just
one?
in general.
So,
I don't think you're
this
ever gonna
one?
be able to do this, right?
Oh, yeah, no, right.
It says equipment operating maintenance.
Frickin' page again. Okay,
fuel.
sorry.
Is-
Sorry. This one. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I did fuel, oil and lube, maintenance and parts and
Yeah, okay.
tires.
Fixing some dirt roads.
Right.
So 6 months, and you
And
figure,
plowing,
yeah.
that's what we spend all this money on, these big trucks.
Mhm.
That's the question I have. Do we need that many or
Okay.
whatever?
Gotcha.
You know, that-
So that's what, I mean, again, it doesn't shut the gap, but it
You
closes
know,
it
because
from 400 and. 408.
What they,
Still 70 grand.
They use all these trucks.
Potentially. I mean, the reality too is that these other towns don't do it because they stopped buying equipment and they would have to buy equipment in order to do it again. Right? So for Hiram to build the plug to the roads again, they'd have to buy 3 trucks and.
Oh, no, that's, I think
right,
that's.
right, and that's why it's still cheaper for us right now, right? Because we don't have
So
to
in-
buy.
No, but.
Yeah.
that stuff right now.
And I will say that, sorry,
No, go ahead.
looking at these, like I looked at town reports. I actually have a call. I was supposed to meet with one of the select board members from Hiram on Sunday afternoon, but it just didn't work out. But by looking through like their town reports and their town warrants and such, most of these places that hire out are hiring 2 to 3 contractors. Like they have like at
Backups.
least 2.
Backups? like,
No.
Like doing
Because
this part of town.
you
and
can't-
that part of town.
Yeah, or you can't get one contractor to take on the
Yeah,
whole
okay,
town.
Okay, so they can only do partial, yeah.
16
So-
miles of road.
Yeah.
There's not big enough companies to
So.
guarantee.
But to your point,
Yeah.
yes, you're right, but also, if you think of, once we retire a vehicle that we already have, we're not replacing that vehicle for
Right.
more than a 3-year.
Right, and that'd be the thing,
Period, so
you'd
that's
be
hard
able
to
to.
calculate that.
Right, because you'd be able to draw out the trucks for a longer period of time, you'd be able to draw
Right.
out the equipment,
Right.
you'd be able to, your replacement schedule will go from 10 years to 15 years, whatever, just use
Not
some
not
numbers, right?
necessarily, they'll sit there and rot too if you don't take care of them.
Well, for sure, but
That's the
I,
worst thing about a vehicle now, when they sit, then they
yeah,
rot.
and then I think for me, more, because you're absolutely right, obviously you're right, but it'd be like, you're not traipsing
You're not
through the
saying-
salty roads
Right.
all
But-
winter long, right? So you can, if you did it right, you'd put it away.
You
and-
put them up, take care of them.
Yeah, right, and that
Spray
would,
them down with oil.
and again, right, that would take
Yeah.
a little more effort from everybody to make sure that that would happen. And it's an interesting comparison. It's the first number was what I kind of thought it would be, but this new one's a little bit closer than I thought it would be. But it is what I mean. With these big expenditures, it's definitely worth looking at. But you're going to take a big bite one way or the other, regardless of which direction you want to go, right? So
Again, I'm not necessarily saying this is the route to go, but I think it's nice to have those figures, and
Yeah,
I
so
don't think, I mean,
you're not gonna be
when
the only
we're
one to think
talking
that
about the
way.
budget, this is a selectman, town manager, and the townspeople issue
course it
more
is.
than, but it's
Yeah, but it's
coming up
good.
in a budget discussion.
yeah, and it's good to have those discussions, right? Because somebody wants to watch the tape, or they can see that we've thought this one through and looked at it from a couple of different angles. I mean, unfortunately, that's just is what it is. And
But along those lines, I guess my question is the use of the trucks. I mean, the 500,000 we put in the budget seems to be basically taken up by outside contractors, paving and, that kind of thing. So, I guess I just would like to understand better what type of tasks the trucks are used for, and do we need those type of trucks, those size of trucks? Obviously, you have plowing, and that might be the overriding issue because they have to be a certain size. I don't know.
the gravel roads are really.
But I guess I'm just saying is we use those trucks basically
Quite a truck of road.
to
too.
do minor
Probably worth that.
stuff, right? I mean, anything, they're not using them to be trucking in constantly for all these big projects. That's outside contractors and stuff. So is there something where you don't need something as big, or, can you get away with 2 instead of 3? I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there because obviously this last thing we've kind of shown you're never going to be able to do a
Right.
part-time 6-month employee. It's just the logistics isn't going to work, let alone finding contractors. It's good to do. It was good to do though, like just to see the numbers. But so to me, just to consistently keep buying the same big truck, this, that, is it needed? I mean, is it really because we need them at that size to do snow plowing, or do we really need them constantly year-round? I mean, we have, do you need one person has, each truck? I mean, when it came up last year a little bit, I guess maybe we could get some more information from Bob on what exactly each of these trucks are used for throughout the year. Are they sitting half the time, during the year because we have 3 and we only need to 2 most of the time? I just don't want to just consistently say, yep, we got to replace it, yep, we got to replace it. Maybe instead of the next step is to find out, do we really, need it? And if we do, how often it's used? Maybe you could use a truck that's 10 years old if you're only using it a month or 2 of the year. I don't know. I'm just I could be totally off base, but to me, it's the next step to really find out, because these are big, they're huge ticket items, and, the 500,000 seems to I don't know, again, unless I'm wrong, when you look at what he's budgeting for the money for that, it's all pavement and outside contractor work, it seems. Unless he's somehow doing a lot of it with the trucks, I don't know.
No, I'm sure he's not. I mean,
But it'd be good to understand that as we, continue to move forward with this. We're not necessarily buying a truck this year, but,
Well, I think all of the gravel stuff, I mean, out of that 500,000, I will say, yeah, probably 300,000, 350 goes to paving.
Right.
And then the rest of it goes to basically maintaining our gravel roads.
but I also see a lot of Keel and K&W Estes trucks going down the road constantly too. So they're not, they're using one of our trucks, but they're using one of theirs too. Why don't we just use two of theirs? Is it cheaper than having a big
ahead,
truck?
bring
to
it
use?
up.
I brought
Go
it
ahead,
up.
bring it up.
Again, I'm just throwing it
I
out there.
brought it up last year.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm just throwing it
I
out
brought
there.
this up
Yeah.
last year. Estes was delivering gravel to the town garage and dumping it off. It's the same price for them to deliver
Yeah.
it to the job than
Yeah.
it would be to
And
dump
they
it
do
to the
that,
garage.
'cause I
And
see
then the
them on the
town
road.
crew reloads it and takes it to the job. Stupid. That's as far as I
But
think.
that's what I mean. That's the type of stuff maybe we need to talk about and find out how
But
often
the-
it happens. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not
There
privy.
again, I'm not saying nothing bad about any of the selectmen. Somebody's got to keep a thumb on them guys, because I tell you right now, there's a lot of stuff going on with that town crew that doesn't need to be going on.
Well, that's why I'm asking about the vehicles, because that's the big ticket items, especially when we keep saying we need to buy a new one after 10 years, and we have two other ones. Again, I think we just need to investigate more on how they're used, how often they're used, each one, what they're used for, that kind of thing, just to see.
Well, and then they haul salt sand, they hire 2 or 3 trucks.
Yeah, how
I mean,
long,
it's-
exactly, how,
it's- if they're gonna do their salt sand, they could probably do it themselves, because them trucks are sitting there half the summer. And they
Yeah.
don't have to truck that sand all at once.
yeah.
When they do it, they go, we gotta get it done in 2 weeks. Well, you survive and see these trucks sitting there, and we're paying for these trucks to sit there. No, we should use them. I mean, like, last year, how many miles of road did we have Keels gravel?
I don't think it was, I think it was the.
Year before.
Well, whatever we did.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
They did the job. So if we're gonna hire these jobs out, do it like Andy said,
Yeah.
do we need all this equipment?
Yeah,
We
we
don't
might
need a
need
wheel and
some.
a plow.
Yeah, I mean, we have to plow, so I understand that,
Our
but,
plow system recently has trended towards wanting smaller, more
Well, we got 5 vehicles to plow.
Right.
with.
Not-
I was thinking that
Yeah,
myself
yeah.
with that new International, I think it is, the 5500. I don't really know why they need the 1 ton or the 550 or whatever it is anymore, because they can load into that truck with the backhoe. And I think they got the 1 ton so they could use the backhoe to load that or whatever it was. But that's just.
Now they want an excavator so they can load the wheelers.
but I think we
That's
need
what wants to load
to
it for.
look into it like,
Huh?
But that's what he wants to load it for, I think.
The other thing I thought of too is how Bob brought up about paving the 100 feet of all these
Yeah.
roads. How often does he grade Mill Road or
well, the thing with that
Small
too
Road
is,
or whatever those roads
Another
are?
thing too, what do you put signs up for?
Well, yeah.
well,
Road
my,
work ahead? That's your liability right there. You still gotta put signs up whether you got 100 feet.
I
of
can
pavement or
understand
not.
on some of the roads, but I feel like a lot of them I don't think get touched.
well, my
once a
question with that is, these roads don't have that now. They
Right.
never
No.
have. It's a nicety. In my eyes,
Yeah.
I know he explained why, and
Yeah.
I apologize, I only remembered the last part about people peeling
That's
wheels and
one
stuff.
for it, yeah.
So and I'm sure there's legitimate reasons for it. But to me, that just creates another maintenance nightmare, because when that cracks in a couple of years or a year, if you get a big truck on it, we have to replace it, don't we? Once you put asphalt
When you
down.
get potholes, you
What,
get
yeah, I
potholes.
mean, to me, adding any asphalt in small areas like that really needs to be talked about, because you're adding a maintenance, $40-something thousand. Don't do that and put it towards the truck.
Well, and you're
That's the
gonna-
way I look
You're gonna
at it.
have
I mean-
those holes just 100 feet back wherever you start.
Yeah, and there's still, you still have your.
It's just not at the intersection.
Yeah, you still have your asphalt piece that they're gonna crack, just you watch along the roads out here. The edge of the asphalt's always getting cracked when someone drives on it. I just think it might be a nicety and it might make sense. I'm not putting down that part, but I just think at this time, it doesn't make sense to add
I don't think
additional
that-
maintenance to the town.
I don't think
It's been a
I've ever
dirt
seen
road the whole time.
Another town with that 100 feet of. Another town.
I mean, if they want to do my driveway, sure, but
I think it's just the wrong year to try to do that. That's, my opinion on it. But,
Agreed.
it might be worth it in the future at some point, but, and if he has money for it or he's budgeted for it, we either take the money and put it towards the truck fund or he do the same? I don't know. You know, not just, I mean, because there's 110,000 remaining. Does he have that earmarked for something, or is that just kind of, I mean, usually when you put your budget in, out of 500, you don't say, I kind of have 100,000 I'm going to use for whatever I'm going to do. I mean, I'd like to see, and you could change, you know, he could change his thoughts as the year goes on, but I'm a little, you know, what's remaining 110, that's a lot of money.
Well,
And again, this is a
I
tough
thought he
year.
spelled some of that out on his, I'm trying to find it.
The
This is the
paving one?
page you gave us, so I don't know.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, in this defense, it's still 1/3 of the year, right?
Right.
Two, now, not for necessarily road repairs, but you will have it after the spring thaw.
Yeah, you could have some
It was on the top of last week.
potholes.
Yeah,
in
we
there.
got it now.
2 months at least,
Yeah,
if not 2.5.
So,
and some of those jobs carry over too, right? You've got a job money earmarked.
I mean, you might have the earmarks for something, but it doesn't say this on here.
Yeah, I mean, if you have money that we taxed for last cycle, that job didn't get done, that money still needs to carry forward to pay for that job, right?
Well, he has remaining 180,000 for the
Yeah, I'm right,
spring
I'm right,
from
yeah.
last year, which is fine.
right.
well, no, he means remaining of his
I mean,
500.
This is for the new 500.
No,
He has remaining,
So-
this is for this coming year, he has remaining 110,000, he has an earmark.
so out of the 500 in fiscal year '26, he could potentially have $110,000 left over, which will roll back into the road improvement fund.
Right, yeah, that's
For this coming year.
committed.
This is for 2026-27, which is the coming year, right? That's this new budget we're talking about.
So the first top of this, where he says he has remaining
Yeah, I wasn't
180,000.
talking about that. He says that he has projects, he's saying he's got spring projects,
Yeah.
that's gonna use that 180, fine.
Yeah,
But then now you go into the 500 that we're looking to appropriate for this coming year, he has 110 remaining, not earmarked for anything.
No, so he's got,
so,
I'm just asking,
and I.
what
so-
would that be? Like, he might have some things, and that's fine. I'm just looking at this sheet that just says,
But this 347 is
Yeah.
just all of his paving. That
Yes.
110 is gonna go towards his gravel road maintenance.
it doesn't say that here, that's why I'm
Well, that-
asking.
right.
What,
I
is that
mean,
what it
that's things
costs
that
every
come
year,
up.
then that's fine. But I just don't,
Yeah,
I just see that blank thing that says remaining. That's fine, so if you're
Yeah.
saying that 110 is your typical, him getting gravel
so that
and
has
doing that
nothing
work.
to do with gravel roads.
110 plus the 42, because that
Yeah.
pavement ain't
Right.
happening.
Right.
But like I said, I mean, I think we all kind of agreed that 42, I don't know, doesn't seem to make sense to do that, right? I mean, it just causing extra maintenance in the future.
and then I have a quick question on the sand and salt materials. Obviously, salt is a material and sand's a material. Are we paying stumpage for the sand, or, because we're paying the processing cost of 21,000 below, which I'm totally on board with. But the line above it, sand and salt materials, is that 56,000, is that what we pay for salt in the year?
That is what we pay for salt, and we pay Pearly Mills.
Okay,
All sand
so
out.
we pay Pearly Mill stumpage
Yeah.
to take the sand, okay,
Yeah.
perfect, that's what I wanted to know. So pay the town of Denmark for sand?
The
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah, good, again, that's fine, but that's, seemed high for salt, so I want to know what the materials was, the sand, that makes sense. That's stumpage. Well, let's see. Stumpage, so you pay a set dollar value for every cubic yard you remove from the pit or
Thank you.
Yep. Yep. Regardless of what you end up doing with it, right? So it could be bank run, gravel, ice cream, whatever you want to do with that material, you can do it, but you pay a base stumpage if you're doing all the processing.
Do we have any idea of like the part-time seasonal outside of the transfer station? Because we have a separate line item for mowing lawns, mowing, you know, the town properties, cemeteries and things. So we have a part-time and seasonal wages. Do we know what type of work they do? Like why? Is it strictly to?
So the mowing doesn't come out of the mowing to pay somebody on payroll to do mowing is not coming out of the mowing line item. It's coming out of the part-time public works line item.
So what's coming out of mowing?
If you need supplies, fixing the mower, because that mowing line item is,
It's 3,000 or something.
yeah.
Didn't he buy
So,
what weed whacker, a new weed whacker?
that's to,
Isn't that out of that?
buy blades, any work that has to be done to the mower,
Or it should be mowing maintenance.
It should be maintenance, yeah.
Mower
It
maintenance.
should, it should say, yeah, mowing maintenance or something. It's- It says
So
cemetery
anything-
mowing.
Anything to do with paying an employee is in payroll.
But I'm talking about this part-time, non-employees and seasonal. Do we have an idea of what, beside, I mean, we used to have someone, 2 years ago was a part-time cutting the grass, I understand that. But
So,
what else, what do we have someone in the, like, what are they doing all year? Like, what?
so
what do
now
they
we
do?
have no more
4
part-time.
people. What else are they doing? What's the fifth person doing? Half the year, in a sense, because, I mean, when you look at the, or at least close to, when you look at the wages for part-time. Because it's separate from the transfer station, that's its own, we know what that is, so that's a separate line, and that's, the second person there. But I'm just curious, because again, if you're looking to try to tweak things, what, do we really need someone that much in the road department? And if it's legitimate for what they do, but we don't know what the part-time person, seasonal, whatever you want to call them, outside of mowing the grass, for a month or two.
So I'll say for Jim
Yeah, I
is
see.
our part-time or seasonal in Public Works, and it is mowing weekly, weed whacking weekly, and then if they're on a project, now that he has his CDL in the fall, he
They all have
was
CDL.
trucking.
But they all have their CDL. You have one person on a backhoe and you have that many, they have all the trucks are being used at the same time. And again, it would be nice to know if that's, how many hours, because it's a lot of hours part-time.
So saying this in my head, it sounds like it's a criticism, and it's not, but I really think these are the good types of discussions that should be happening during the year and not at budget time. We bring this up every year about this, but to me, it's the selectmen's and the town manager's responsibility. Those questions should probably all be sorted out through the year, whether it's a 3-month or it's something on a schedule for an annual review of employees or whatever. Because this is really good information for me to have. I'm glad I'm having it. I think these are the questions that should be asked, but it would really be nice if these questions are asked once a month or once every 3 months.
From what I can see,
Or whatever.
So if you,
what's getting done by who, what, where.
so on the proposed wage increases, and I did this out last year and then this year, so Public Works seasonal for summer, I figured 22 weeks. That is from Memorial Day to Labor Day at 20 hours a week. Seasonal through the winter is 10 weeks at 10 hours a week. And I use those, just the 20 and the 20 and the 10, just so there's a budgeting figure in there. Same thing with transfer station. In transfer station, you'll see seasonal is just in the summer for 22 weeks. Again, that's 2 days a week through the summer.
So, and again, if this isn't the right time, and we'll talk about it.
No, I'm happy that we're having a discussion.
I-
I'm
and
saying this would be nice to be had throughout the year.
Yeah.
Well, it only ever
addition to
comes
this
up when we look at the budget numbers.
Well, that's my issue. That's my big issue. That's,
And-
to me, that's the important part, that,
Right.
man, if we were on top of this every 3 months,
Like if you sat down quarterly and looked at these expenses and the needs of the equipment and the staff, that maybe at budget time, you'll have a clearer picture and we'll have a more accurate accounting of the town's need.
I love these questions, believe me.
I guess,
Also, we're going from Kenny to Bob, so it's a little, for like the public works director,
Right.
so.
But maybe now,
Little changing
now
of
we
the
have a new
guard.
person and
Yeah.
she's been here for a year or nearly a year, that maybe
It's been over a year.
between the four of you, you can sit down with the public works person quarterly and talk about all these things that we brought up. Maybe make it part of your procedures of what you do.
that would be my question. Like, do you have a policy on, like, employee reviews? Like, I think we talked about this a little bit last year. Like, is there a town policy on something like that? Like, you know, for all employees, I guess?
Well, employee reviews is the separate subject. That's for wage increase, and
They're done
that's not whether,
annually.
what they're doing in their job per se, if it's needed or not. That's what I was kind of inferring.
But I
you
think
know.
what wouldn't I guess what I'm saying is that for me would tie into a proposed wage increase, I guess, or any sort of
it's more like a
evaluating
department
the
head.
employee. Yeah.
It's more of a department head.
So
conversation.
traditionally, pay increases has never been based on performance. And in the personnel policy, it says that if you're in good standing and the budget allows, it's a COLA across the board
Okay.
to,
And
I think it'd be hard to
Anything
do what
over-
you're asking in a nonprofit type of
Right.
setting.
okay. No. I'm not necessarily like it's directly. I'm just saying, what's the metric for evaluating the employees? I guess is more.
so annually,
What I'm asking.
each department head does a evaluation on the employees under them.
Okay.
And then they turn them in to me.
Okay. Separate of that, the town's policy is to give said COLA increase in good standing, and then anything beyond that is just proposed, like discretion. You start off with whatever your magic number, we'll call it. But it's the town's policy, I guess, to, at a minimum, give that COLA increase, I guess. That's my question.
If the budget allows, yes.
Okay.
To my knowledge, we have never
Given performance.
given like one employee,
Oh, no, I'm not saying, I'm not
Something
suggesting that. I'm just
different,
asking how, what the evaluation process is. That's all. That's what
Yep.
larger question.
And so the fact that it's a nonprofit makes everything a little bit, but we do reviews in the private sector where I work on a monthly basis with the department heads, if you will, right? We talk about, and for us it's a financial thing, but I think quarterly wouldn't be too onerous, because I think you are constantly tracking through these line items, right? But I mean, these are live workbooks, right? These
Right.
are live accounts that update as soon as it goes through the bank
Weekly,
and it
yep.
gets coded to a certain account. These numbers start to change. They're changing all the time. So, there have to be some. I always say with things like this, right, especially when it comes to accounting, right, the old adage is garbage in, garbage out. So if you're getting a good job of guys coding things to the right things and everything's getting put to the right way, now we have the flexibility in this town to be able to take some money that, to code some things differently if we so choose, because there's room left in that line item, right? We give the selectmen that authority to use money not expended on items, on lines that are overexpended. So, but it might be a good lesson to throw out a quarterly report and have that discussion, just so that, in particular, the seasonal part-time stuff where we're, always not quite sure, you never know what the season's gonna bring. Whether it is all heavy winter or whether it's heavy summer, and how much actually gets spent in the summer, and can you get it? I mean, that's the only way I think that this. Yeah, I think that's the only way that we've done such a good job in the last 5-10 years, right, of really honing in on this budget process. Betty's done an exceptional job since she's been here of really tightening the things down to where we're getting a much better, much clearer picture than we were when I first started doing this thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, throw your hands up and you pray in one hand. So if we're going to get that, I think that would be probably the next step is to have those sorts of But that's, again, onerous on everybody. Do we have the time for those sorts of things? Does everybody have the time to do those sorts of things? I think there's probably some benefit to it. I don't know whether it's a 3% benefit, a 5% benefit, a 10% benefit, a 0% benefit. I don't have any idea, but probably to go through the exercise, at least for a budgetary cycle, would be
Yeah, even if
worth
it,
knowing what it was.
right, even if it was a 2-month or a 3-month block, said, all right, June, July, and August for the summer months. What projects finished? Who was working on those projects?
Right.
Oh, if something, maybe it's all kosher, it probably is, but you say,
Sure.
geez, why did it take 3 guys to do this? Did we get 120 hours of work out of them every, it'd be just nice
Right.
to know that, and then you could say, well, geez, wait a second here, or maybe something doesn't seem right, or
I agree. And
why
Public
did we
Works
get all those
is,
engine hours on that truck that was,
Public Works takes the biggest bite of the apple, and they have the most, and they have the most that they need to spend on it. I get there. I'm not saying anything otherwise. That's
scrutiny.
right, and that's exactly what I was going to say. Right, so they, unfortunately, they will get
And I think
the
just to be fair,
longest stare
And they're,
down.
and they're a public eye. People
That's right.
see.
about
That's right.
like reviews and where everybody ends up, I think that's, the same, we're talking about Public Works, but for me, that's the administration, any town employee.
Yeah.
I guess that's, I want to not pigeonhole them into just.
No, but like
one
Luke says, the
box.
biggest part of the budget.
Right, right.
where-
Always.
Yeah, definitely.
Always. Yep.
But if you're doing this, it's going to help the selectmen and the town know, like, do you need that type truck? Or do we need a different style of vehicle? Can we trade that for what we actually need, for what we're using it for? Now, I think it gives you the more flexibility of knowing what the expense is, and I think that's what Rusty's been saying all along for a couple of years now.
If I don't say it just right, do I?
No, you say it really well.
Can I ask another real quick question? When the equipment gets rented, where does that come, what line does that come out
It was
of?
a rental item.
Is there a
There's-
certain one?
It's usually
I probably
under
don't know.
road projects, actually,
Oh, is it?
if it's,
There's not a separate,
Not separate rental.
I thought there was a rental one.
yeah,
No.
we don't,
Oh, there isn't?
I don't think so. I think it's like Betty said, that 110.
Or maybe he asked for it and
Well,
we
the
said,
110 kind of encompasses all that
Maybe-
stuff they do,
Yeah.
which would include rental,
Yeah,
Yeah, so, right, and so that's what I'm saying, so they should pick from one place to rent stuff
Yeah.
from, so I hope
which
that-
is fine. It just wanted to understand.
Do we put those rental items out to bid?
That's
I
probably a
think
couple
they
pieces
probably
to check.
go up by who's got one available, or I don't know,
yeah, I think he,
depending on what he needs.
he himself calls to see what's available and how much. He has like 3 different ones.
Yeah,
I
good, so he's
think.
going, and I'll just throw names, there. You're going to Sunbelt and Pro-Equip and whoever else I know.
I was gonna
who's
say,
in Milton, whatever,
I've
I mean.
seen those come through, so
Yeah,
yes.
oh, good, okay.
It's not always like the same.
No, it's usually not, we don't rent from the same, we usually get, we have anywhere between 10 and 15 things rented for the season every year, right? But we shop it out, and at this time of year, we say, hey, what are your seasonal rents gonna be, and things like that. We don't always go with the same unit, for the same outfit. And even if we have seasonal leases or seasonal rentals for one person, the thing we have to go get, because we need it for a week, sometimes it's gonna be cheaper through a different. So, it's good to know he's doing his due diligence by looking around, because it could be quite a difference.
May I ask a question? It kind of pertains to the conversation for the selectmen's meeting, and I kind of overheard a portion of it, so a little knowledge can, but I know that you have like an inventory of all your vehicles and equipment and things like that. Do you do like each building that the town owns, do you have like do you like annually or several times a year go through each building and say what a maintenance plan is needed? Because I was listening to a couple of things that were happening, and it seemed like some of those things were kind of like a surprise. Is that maybe a good idea to have, is like the municipal building, what's happening with the building or the garage or whatever?
I've been trying to incorporate that.
Because wouldn't that help you with planning for your expenses and not have some of the surprises that you may or may not be dealing with in the conversation you just had?
Correct. And so, and I say that I've been trying to deal with that and trying to come up with a plan, and it always falls back to, okay, is this something that we're going to be doing in-house, or is this something that I hire somebody to come in and do once a year? Because in past, it's been obviously done in-house. I don't think planning has been the
Hasn't gone
best.
well, has it?
So I personally would like to see that we have somebody come in, an inspector, whatever, come in yearly and take a look at each building.
Well, I mean, the biggest example of that is the salt shed. I mean, couldn't have, if there had been maintenance on it, we wouldn't be in the position that we are in today. That if you went through each of your buildings, I know, didn't you do something in the past couple of years about this building?
About this building, yeah.
And there was some work done. I mean, I guess it stands to reason that's a good idea for each of the facilities the town owns, that you can be on a maintenance plan and kind of not have surprises of expenses that you didn't plan on to, and that it sounds like some of them are big ticket items here and there. I mean, I think that would go with your vehicle inventory type thing, that it would be a good idea to have.
Yes, and so I have a very almost completed draft for a capital improvement plan that incorporates all of this. I am still just trying to finalize, again, going through each building and saying, this is what I think we need in the next year, this is what I think we might need in the next 2 years, 5 years.
When you finish that, can you come to my house?
I know we have the capital improvement fund, but I'd like to see, as soon as we build that salt shed, start saving for the next one. You know, I mean.
We change that every time we turn around and
I know, but it's like, all right, we need a truck, so here it goes.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
you know.
But maybe, like, I mean, I think it started with a conversation that Andy began, like, looking at the needs of the town, like, if we don't need this vehicle, maybe we need this equipment, or maybe we can put that back into the funds or whatever. You know, the town would have a better idea of the needs, you know, rather than, oh, we have 4 trucks just because we have 4 trucks. Or however
Is that a
many.
motion, 4 trucks?
I tried that a few years ago, Sean, didn't work.
Getting on.
4 drivers,
I tried.
5 trucks.
I think also we have 2 different, the old regime, the new regime coming in,
Right.
they don't do things the same. So they,
But, I mean, as selectman, you are their supervisor. I mean, this is a good time that we start some of these things that maybe we thought was a good idea, but never had time to implement that, you know.
It's personality, style, that shouldn't be, you know, there's a
No.
job that needs to be done, and this is the way it is.
But maybe this is good for you guys, to help you guys plan with expenses and everything.
All very good suggestions that
It sounds good on paper.
You volunteering
How
on
many
it?
assistants
It
do
is.
you want?
I should be on another.
No, and they are, especially with, you know, either the quarterly.
Well, I know that in the past regime, when I was on comprehensive plan, I saw the beginnings of a capital improvement plan, but I don't think it got acted on and moved forward because it seemed more of a draft then.
I
it always gets blown up by some emergency.
believe
you know?
2008 might stick
The
in my
world's
mind.
moving
It's
at
just
warp
kind of
speed.
seems-
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think Kenny began one way back then.
Individual savings accounts.
Yeah.
That usually don't happen either.
Well, it's like the general fund in the government. I mean,
Any other new business from the committee? Anything that the board or the town manager would like
Should we
to?
ask them what they think
discuss.
of the salt shed? If we should explore more options, or?
Yeah.
Well, Betty was
So
gonna
we
say.
done talking?
Well, yeah, I mean, did you not get any
Bob was in
more
last
information on bonding, Betty? Was there no more? You thought you might be able to get some more information today,
So
but did you get?
We're just, yeah.
Yeah, so I reached out to the Maine Municipal Bonding Bank, and we've missed their spring. They do a spring and a fall. The spring, I thought, usually ends in April, but this year it was in February. And she said that, so then I went further and asked, well, if we were able to put this through budget, is it something that, once built, we could still also bond, or does it have to be, you know, a new project? And we could bond even after it was built. It would be considered a reimbursement to the town, so there's some legality there that I would need to look into. The Maine Municipal Bank bond does require you to have a bonding legal counsel on board, so they've supplied me with those firms. Our current legal firm is not approved by them. But then
The lawyer came up with that
with,
rule.
with Northeast Bank, they also do municipal bonding and municipal lending. So I've reached out to them. We'll be meeting with them more. Just quickly, they said the difference between them and the Maine Bond Bank would be that we would have the flexibility with them to pay off early. It wouldn't be so stringent. The interest rate's probably gonna be a little higher, just because you do have some flexibility, and they, the Maine Bond Bank can put this out into, several bonds, all at once.
Right.
So I'm still looking, into that.
What do you think the realistic timeline is to get this project even off the ground? Like RFP out, I'm serious though, right?
No,
RFP out,
well, and
civil
I
drawings
brought,
done, right?
I
all that
chuckle
kind of stuff.
because I brought that up tonight with the board, is I'm at a stalemate right now, like I need some direction. Because even to do an RFP right now, I can't, I have an RFP drafted for,
Fabric building.
for a design build for 3 options, they could choose a fabric building, a prefabricated metal building, or, conventional stick build.
Yep.
But I was asking the board if they wanted to proceed with, Sebago Tech had given us a proposal, and within that proposal, I think it was like $14,500 was to do a current survey, to do a site plan,
Yep.
to run all of the elevations. Do we
Yep.
want to go ahead and do that now? Because we're gonna, to me, that's the first step.
Yeah, you have to
Even
get that
you
done.
need that for an RFP.
Yep.
To hand out with the RFP would be
You're gonna get better pricing that way.
beneficial.
Yeah, better pricing if they know what's going on that site.
So, I was just asking the board tonight for
Okay.
some direction on that.
And the only reason I
think
bring that up
they
is,
were-
the only reason I bring that up is because it may not matter if you miss the spring window.
Oh, yeah.
You might not be able to borrow anything until the fall window anyway, so
Right.
who cares?
Well, you also, I don't think anybody's gonna build unless they know what the ground's like either.
Well,
Correct.
they would, you'd be able to get some pricing.
Yeah.
And then depending on what they found when they got here, they would qualify their offer, right? But
Right, and like,
you're right.
Andy
Nobody's
was,
gonna come in here.
Andy was asking, well, what about exploring like the metal prefab? And so we kind of are doing that by just talking to people, just to get an idea. But again, if we've talked about this, if it would be ideal, and we're not gonna get that with, a fabric, but, building is to have the contractor to do everything. Site work, foundation, it's all handled under one.
Right.
So again, am I now going back to Sebago Tech, and do we want to commit to, a foundation that they designed? Do we commit to, the contractor supplying us with foundation prints, certified, and then we just take them for due diligence and have Sebago Tech look them over?
Right.
So a lot of ifs.
Yep.
And was hoping that once we could talk to, a prefab place, we've already talked to one, fabric place, that, and I already have in kind of my head through Sebago Tech, conventional building. Then we might be able to get a direction on, okay, what direction do we really want to pursue, or do we still want to pursue all 3 of them? So, in reality,
The more things you can put on paper that are homogeneous for everybody to bid on, the better off you're gonna be, the better price you're
Right.
gonna get, and honestly, the less work for you guys, right? The less you've gotta sift through, sort through, or for legal to try and make sure everyone's pricing apples for apples.
Correct.
So I mean, because even if Sebago gives you a foundation design and somebody wants to provide you with an alternate, that's an equal, that Sebago Tech can say, that can either approve or not approve, and it happens all the time, right? So, I think you're always better off spending the money early to make sure that the design and all the information you're gonna provide to the bidders is as good as it can be, because you will get better pricing in the end. That's my 2 cents. For being in the business, for being in the industry for a long time. The more information you can provide to people who you're asking for pricing from, the better pricing you're going to get. And the less headache it's gonna be for you to try and make sure everything's the same.
Go, well, we don't know, so we're just gonna go
Yes,
high.
exactly right.
Cover yourself.
Or they're gonna write a line at the end of it saying, if the site is not what we think it is, then we reserve the right to change our pricing.
Of course.
And you can't say anything about it. So I mean, again, for whatever it's worth, I would tell you guys to spend the money that you need to spend now to make sure that the information you give everybody is as good as you can make it.
Does the board have more?
Just one more thing on the salt shed. I mean, just so that I think we exhaust all avenues. I mean, obviously, we want to, I know you put some millage numbers in there about, appropriating 600,000, for the salt shed. I know we've talked about putting it out on town warrant for a bond. I mean, maybe one of the things, if you can redo that middle section without the 600,000 and just include a bond. I don't know what that costs a year, 60 grand, 100 grand, whatever.
Yeah.
Just to show better, I mean, I'm looking at these millage rates, and 15% is a monstrous number. I mean, for 1 year. So I'm just, I mean, I just wanted, the other point I wanted to bring out is that obviously the first option that we all prefer is to rebuild something and get it out there. I mean, they basically made it through this year, and I'm sure it wasn't easy. I mean, again, we should probably talk to Bob, because it sounds like, one, it might not happen this year just because of logistics and, going through this process and so forth. Or two, can we get another year without it and plan for it that way? Again, I'm throwing it out there so we discuss it. If we decide, nope, we've got to really shoot for getting it in there, that's fine. But there are other options. They're not the best. I'm sure Bob doesn't want to hear it, the guys don't want to hear it, that we might have to wait another year. And we might plan that because, again, budgetary reasons and so on and so forth. But again, that's things we should just, I think, as a group, agree that, or at least have a majority agreement, which way we're really trying to do it, because there are other options. You push it, you
You don't want to push it.
well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I don't want to see it rushed to be $600,000. Just
Right.
have it. Be
But that's what I'm
something
saying. You don't want to
gonna-
rush it, but on the other hand, they're going through hardships without something. But maybe that's okay for another year.
And this
I don't
whole thing
know.
is putting pressure on Betty and you guys to try to get all this stuff out there, and
But that's what I'm saying. So maybe the thought process is more to do what we're doing. Continue to do what we're doing,
Correct.
knowing it might not happen this year, this coming fall, and then maybe you appropriate it or try to
This year. You're not going to expend all the money this year or this budget cycle, I don't think, anyway. So you could raise half of it this year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe you do half this year, or if we put it to town vote and if they say bond it, you're not going to be pulling any money. 'Cause it's going to come to bonds. It's going to be a lot cheaper. But again, I'm just throwing that out there so that we don't just kind of get sidetracked with the one
So something
thought.
that I haven't actually brought up, and I will do some more research and get some information, is that, video here, but anyways. We may not be compliant right now with DEP.
Because we're not
It's
contained,
not under cover.
Correct. So,
we don't tarp it or anything.
we do, and I'm not saying that that's a reason.
I was gonna say
I'm
the
not
salt
saying-
is
Undercover, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
But the whole mixture is supposed to be.
So we don't tarp
And
it.
I'm not saying that that's a reason to rush in, I'm just saying that
But we don't
that's
tarp
one
it?
more thing I have to
We don't
look
tarp
into.
it? When we don't use it, we don't tarp that? Is
No.
that too big a pile to tarp?
Yeah.
How much do we mix up at a time? How much do we mix at a time? Well, that's what I'm asking.
I got like 4,000 yards down there.
Well, we got sand. 4,000 yards of sand.
That's all mixed.
It's all mixed.
That's all mixed?
It's all mixed.
They pre-mixed it because of they didn't want to cover it and they didn't want
And then they still are bringing salt in to do
they
more
want
of a
it to
mixture
freeze,
if they need, if it's,
Why don't we cut the salt usage down?
Okay. I got
I
you.
first moved here, it was only sand.
Well,
I mean,
it's hard to imagine.
temporarily.
It would have frozen, I don't know how.
I mean, even just temporarily, is that an option?
I don't-
Cut back on the salt,
Yeah,
or
it'd be a
most of the
frozen
salt
chunk.
for
Yeah,
a year or
just be a
something.
frozen
It'd be a
pile.
frozen chunk, I doubt it was ever just sand, because it wouldn't.
The only way they'd ever was just sand when Percy had his pit open.
Well, then they were using a
Used to
lot
put
more
that
salt.
on the
than
roads
they
up there.
did,
It didn't
because
melt.
I
It was
don't-
perfect.
I've never had as much
Sometimes
salt in
they-
my,
yeah.
you know,
Sometimes they spread.
But you had to do it right
just straight
that
salt.
day. You couldn't let it sit there.
no, just, you know.
That's all they have.
So the
What if you
first
could
thing that
tar sand?
you're gonna have to have like 14, 15 grand to do a site blast.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to come up with an article for that, correct?
well,
Or is that
It would be out of that.
So it's
money.
already-
It would come out of that.
it's already designated. The board already designated,
Oh, so there's money up.
50,000 from the FEMA money that we
Okay,
had
okay.
brought
But
in.
even still, like, part of that $600,000
To, like,
would
do
go that anyway. Russ.
preliminary
So that was
stuff.
approved to be able to run them with it. But you're right, you wouldn't have it until the
Right.
meeting, I guess. Yeah. Good point.
So would this mean the possibility of maybe having multiple warrant articles? If we do this, then this, and then,
Bond.
or if you don't do this, you don't do
Appropriate.
this one?
Right.
Yeah,
Go
and
up
there's,
however you want,
yeah, and there's certain criteria and requirements if we're gonna bond, how it's written up, and that we have to provide financials within the warrant, and, yeah, so.
I usually hate this idea, but this might be one of those times where we end up with a special town meeting just for this project too.
Oh,
What's that? Oh,
As much as I hate having special town meetings,
Right.
still your turnout's low, but this might be one of those times where
Yeah.
it requires, rather than doing the three things,
If we
you know,
hit
let
wall-
let the town know that this is the situation at the town meeting, that it's gonna require another
Right.
one, so we
It's
don't
gonna
have to
be
go
another
through
one,
those
yeah.
3 or 4 different scenarios on the warrant.
Because that gets
no,
confusing.
you're right.
Sean, I can't believe you said that.
No, I know.
15 years ago,
Have them vote on one of the three options.
you couldn't stand in here.
Yeah,
We
something
had to
like that.
take lunch for recess.
What is
I mean,
the
you could do it.
selectmen's
You could do-
thoughts on
you could
a
do
possibility of
Or just come up
having
with
a
the
special
option,
town
I guess,
meeting?
you
We've
know,
done it before.
once
I
you
mean,
get-
has it been on your?
I'll have one next week if you want. It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
We've
nobody,
done it before
we,
for
we come
for
here
certain things.
every couple months anyway.
We
Nobody
come
else
here
ever
in
shows
June
up.
and we're lucky if we get 20 people for the regular town meeting. I don't think a special town meeting is gonna be less than the regular town meeting. You know, I don't think that's the issue anymore. We don't get anybody here for the town meetings.
Yeah, we probably had 50 people here last year, didn't we, town meeting?
Yeah.
We had about 32 or 38 or something like
Yeah,
that,
but-
because half were voting a certain way. But up before that, we get 20. My other two times,
Wow.
two times, it's 20 people.
Back in the golden ages, we can
Yeah,
all
that's
tell
what Kirk was
stories
saying, yeah.
about,
But we didn't put them all in groups like the nonprofits. We voted on those separately.
right, and
Also, it
everybody
took a while.
was
Oh, it
sick to
took a
vote.
half a day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and they were able to debate about it.
$50 articles, $500
We'd
articles.
sit here and
take forever.
argue for half an hour over
Oh, the best was when we
streetlights.
used to vote for individual
Oh, the
salaries.
streetlights.
Oh,
Individual salaries for individual
Just
employees.
bashing people down.
oh, yeah.
Picking on me.
And back in the day, way back before all of this, any age group could talk. So you'd get like teenagers or whatever talk, you would be recognized and you could talk and ask
They used to
questions.
like knock down, drag up fights down the old town hall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you'd
Resolve
go
in school
just to
district.
watch the,
I miss Winnie.
Are you
Yes.
allowed to speak?
I do too.
Are we
you're-
what?
I was the first baby in it.
If you were, is it just, I know you have to be a resident, but what if you're not 18? Can you speak at town meeting?
You have to be a registered voter.
You have to be a voter?
see, back in the day, they
Or-
like, this is before all of this changed. You could-
Or I
Teenagers
don't
would
know,
talk.
it's registered voter.
It's like workers'
Yeah.
to recognize it.
I know you can be recognized to
Not
speak,
so.
but could,
Is it a taxpayer,
Bert
isn't
Kendall
it?
spoke it. He wasn't a taxpayer. Or a
Yeah, but
voter.
what if you, you're a
okay.
candidate, but you live in
Anything that you
Madison
want
voting
for me for next meeting?
Are we doing agencies, outside agencies that
We're
next meeting? Is that
doing-
what we had?
Agencies next meeting,
town.
which is no select board meeting, it's just budget meeting.
And I will
So
not be here.
there's-
You won't be here?
And you will not be here. So the following week on the 10th, I will not be here.
Sounds like,
So
do we need a meeting that day? Probably not.
I won't be
that's
here
what
March
I'm asking.
24th.
If you're not here, it's not like we can't get anything done, then.
Well, I mean, we can see how next week goes, but I mean, unless
Okay.
there's just a couple things to clean up, but I can't imagine we won't get through it all. Especially if you guys don't have a meeting, we can just,
What meeting do you think we're not gonna do?
the 10th,
The 10th?
right? They can't be here. I think
There's
that
no
makes
sense
sense.
in
I
waiting.
don't think
2 weeks off, cool.
I think we're ahead of schedule anyway.
Is that a
aren't we?
normal select board meeting?
The 10th? Yes, I have that on
Oh,
my.
yeah, we'll
when
talk
we-
about that, okay.
When we reconvene
When
or
we
whatever.
reconvene.
Works.
We're ahead of
That's
schedule, are we
fine.
not?
We could cancel.
We are.
Yeah. So,
I'm personally think the biggest holdup is gonna be the South Building.
Yeah.
Unless,
Yeah.
that's why I said, is there anything?
Yes, so can
Is there
you
anything else?
reduce some of those numbers with?
Yes.
With,
What we talked about?
yeah, and then even, it wasn't clear about when you did your things about only taking 300,000, like
Yeah.
say, taking 300,000, what projected we think it would leave. So maybe we could talk after this, just to maybe have a few scenarios, because I know we talked about that new.
Like
that
if
other
we
policy.
take money
If we
from
took more,
unassigned?
or, yeah, if we took more from unassigned and we're dropping below this so-called policy that's 10 years old that was just found, the number there. But, just to give us some more options, because we might be able to finagle that somehow to go, just to kind of drop. I'm just looking at these numbers and they're huge.
they are, but.
Can I ask for a few scenarios too? I guess one would be wage increases just at COLA. And then however you want to think about it, the salt shed as like the most bare bones get by next year, whatever that might look like.
Whatever you want to spend on blue tarps.
Oh, you mean keeping it, do it again this
Yes,
year?
you gotta get blue
I'm
Yeah.
just saying worst case scenario, a building isn't feasible for whatever
Yeah, what it would
number
cost
of
to-
reasons. What would it look like to do another year without one?
Small town, that's bad plans.
Betty, when you send out your email, because you
No,
always send
it's like
us
it's
an
a trade
email,
off.
if you would give us a revised calendar,
If they do anything.
Yes.
please, you said we're ahead of time. I'd like to know what we're gonna do.
Yeah, it sounds like the
When we're
10th,
gonna
we
meet.
probably won't meet and stuff like that, so that'd be good.
Thank you.
So just getting back to the unassigned, I don't know how many scenarios you would like, because, we're gonna have 424,000. I don't think that we're gonna,
That's all we're gonna have?
so if you look at what I've given you this
Yeah.
week,
That's the
That
start of
is
the year
that is the start
amount,
of,
the audit year amount minus the 660 that was already from last year, from
Yeah.
last cycle.
Yeah,
You can take
that's-
out this cycle,
so 424, and
that's the low point, if you will.
that is a low point.
Mm-hmm.
I would be surprised if we add 300 to that by the end of, when we roll everything over this fiscal year. So you're gonna have,
Oh, you have
this is just gonna
700.
be my guess, you're gonna have like 800 or below. Just seeing what our budget is running right now,
Twice, 25% of their total budget.
Yeah, I don't, right, well, 4,000's not.
No, 700 and some thousand.
Yeah, right, which is, again, for whoever thinks that that's.
Again,
what's
it's not gonna say it today, but just another reason why, just going through these departments and things like that, we should really try to freeze what was there. I know, for at least niceties. Now, I know, obviously, we gotta get fire extinguishers. They're gonna need new air packs, but maybe, obviously, we could finagle that with, the fund, their fund, and we don't have to raise tax for it. There's those things we have to do, but, I would suggest we try to, keep the budget, for when it comes to the line items, to keep it what it was last year. I mean, it's a tough year. I mean, it's gotta be a tough year. I know every year's not easy, but this one especially with what's coming down, it just, I think, makes more sense to try to, 1,000 here, 1,000 there. If we come up with 40,000, that's a lot of money to come from nothing. Like we talked about the paving, if Bob's considering that was part of the 500,000, unless he has something he used to use it, we either take it from there and use it towards the budget this year, knowing that it would go back to 500 next year, or, put it towards a truck fund, if you wanted to throw it in there, or put it towards the building fund, whatever.
Right.
Just something that I think we need to really find these things, be as good. And it's not gonna be a lot of money in a lot of cases, 1,000 here, but that's a lot, it adds up. It adds up.
All adds up.
Yeah, even if it's 10, 20,000, that's, I think that's the job, is to try to do that. But anyway,
how is the town doing on people paying their taxes? Is that going, is there,
Talk to the certified treasurer.
no, but I mean, that kind of gauge, it kind of gauges you
When's the next one
on.
due?
April.
Probably missed it.
I keep a spreadsheet of, the same spreadsheet that went back way before me, and there's more people.
Because that kind of helps you get gauge of future spending, you know, what you have in the.
Well, what's been kind of like an average that we don't get what we thought we would get? Is it 10? Is it 50? Is it 20? 1,000 a year?
About
like
170
something,
to.
170?
Right now, our 25
Yeah.
liens is 23,000 owed, and most of that
So-
will be paid before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but year to year, though, it seems
We're
like
still
we
owed.
could be like 100,000, if not to 150, that people haven't paid.
Including several years, is that what it is, 2 years?
Work jumps, right, currently we're at 8.
Well, right, but not within this year, though.
Oh, I
Like,
see.
you know, they're
Could be next
leaned
year.
and it'll be like
Yeah.
next year or the year after, or, yeah. So that's why,
There's no way around.
you know, you have to account for that when I'm thinking about unassigned.
Yep.
Right, but that's
Yep.
different, right?
We do
It's
make
not
a lot
600,000.
more
No, that's what I'm
in
saying.
our,
Yeah. Right, that's what I'm saying too.
motor
So,
vehicle registrations than what we
To me, it's a no-brainer.
yeah, I don't think it's.
What we
Yeah, except that,
anticipate,
okay,
but
that's 600,000.
again, that's,
Excuse my
It's around
language.
$100,000.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that, it have a lot to do with that the cost of a vehicle is way higher
Yeah.
than
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure
what
that's
you
part of it.
say. I know, it's going- I
Yep.
mean, a basic vehicle's like just
They don't
shy
make,
of 100,000.
they don't make basic vehicles anymore.
This all should be that.
I was
because
hoping
that's-
to register, my mother
Just
was
saying, I don't
very
think
ill, and
we can
she
get around
she
thinking
did
about bonding
Mickey's
that thing.
job
I
for
can't
many
imagine
years,
saying we're not
and
supporting anything except
she was
bonding.
very ill, so I
just
stepped
like
in
to know
and
what
did
that
her
does,
job
how
so she
far
could
that
keep
goes.
her insurance.
Thank you.
And I remember registering the first vehicle that a resident in town, it was $30,000, and all,
Everybody thought that was outrageous.
yeah, and that was,
That's
I
a used to
think,
be
I
a
think that was like 98, 99,
Exactly.
somewhere in there. $30,000, and can you imagine,
That
like
was top
today,
of the
that's.
line, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, it
Had to be a
had
Cadillac.
$3 whistle.
Motion adjourned.
That was a high price vehicle.
Second? Motion to adjourn has been made, it's been seconded, all those in favor?
Second, I'm all set.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.